I'm Joe Kirshner with American Water College. Watch as I use my 5-step approach to solve this problem.
How long will it take to fill a tank to the overflow pipe at 900 gallons per minute if the tank diameter is 60 feet and the overflow level is 29 feet? So here's our tank, and we have 900 gallons per minute coming into the tank, and it's 60 feet wide. So we're trying to determine how long it's going to take to fill this up to the 29-foot overflow pipe. Okay, so we can calculate our volume using our diameter of 60 feet and our depth of 29 feet. We can calculate how much volume this occupies, and they told us the flow rate coming in. So this type of problem can be either how long does it take to fill, how long does it take to drain, or how long will the water stay in there, detention time. The same formula is used to solve either a fill problem, a drain problem, or a detention time problem. Keys to solving these problems are agreement among the units. Your volume has to match, the units for volume has to match your flow rate volume in order to plug it into that detention time formula. Now your volume might be given to you in million gallons, it might just be gallons, or it might be cubic feet. And we need to make sure that we use the appropriate units as compared to our flow rate. And the flow rate might be million gallons per day, it might be cubic feet per second, or it might be gallons per minute. But that's all right, because you're solid on converting units, or if you're not, I highly recommend you go back over our unit conversion lesson that goes in depth on how to convert units. But I'll show you how to convert the units for this problem. So we've got flow of 900 gallons per minute coming in. Let's see what goes on here when we fill this tank. So we're going to fill the tank to that 29-foot level, and then it's going to overflow. So as we're filling this tank at 900 gallons per minute, how long is it going to take? Well, the formula we use is the time, or this is actually the detention time formula, where we take the volume of the tank, or the volume of water, and we divide it by the flow rate. That's what this Q stands for, the quantity of water, the volume of water. So when we do this, we just have to make sure, like I said before, our units match. So what I did here is I just plugged in the formula for volume. Okay, at this level you should know that the formula for the volume in gallons is 0.785 times the diameter squared, times diameter, which is 60 feet, times 29 feet, which is our depth. We got that from the problem, 29-foot depth, that's where the overflow pipe is, times 7.48 gallons per cubic feet. Okay, this will convert this volume to gallons. So 0.785 times 60 times 60 times 29 times 7.48 is the volume of this tank at the overflow pipe. And then we simply divide that by our flow rate in gallons per minute. And this is why it's important that we get this volume in gallons, because our flow rate is gallons per minute. So when we divide our volume in gallons by our flow rate in gallons per minute, the units left over will be minutes. Okay, so when we crunch these numbers, 0.785 times 60 times 60 times 29 times 7.48 divided by 900 equals 681 minutes. Well, your answer choices might not be in minutes, they might be in hours. So if that's the case, we simply divide the minutes by 60 minutes per hour, and we come up with 11.35 hours. So that's the approach to these tank fill problems, tank drain problems, or detention time problems. They're all solved in the same way. Well, let's take a look at it kind of just on a plain piece of paper. How long will it take to fill this tank to the overflow pipe at 900 gallons per minute? Our diameter is 60 feet, and the overflow pipe is 29 feet. So let's take that information and write it down. That'll be step one. So we're looking for time. The diameter is 60 feet, the depth is 29 feet, and our flow rate is 900 gallons per minute. So that completes step one. Let's pull those numbers and those units out of the problem, write them down so we can see what we have to work with. Step two is we pick a formula. Well, in this case, we're looking for time. So on the formula sheet, they have this detention time formula. I'm going to cross out detention time just to show you that even though this isn't a detention time formula, you can use this same formula to calculate how long, the time, to fill a tank or to drain a tank as well. So that's our formula. We need the volume. Okay, we don't have the volume, so notice in this formula it requires the volume and the flow rate. Well, we have to calculate the volume, but they gave us enough information to calculate the volume. You have a diameter and you have a depth, so you can always calculate volume. So we're going to use this formula that says 0.785 times the diameter times the depth times 7.48 will give us our volume in gallons. Okay, and we want the volume in gallons because our flow rate is in gallons per minute. So let's plug in our numbers and calculate the volume of water in this tank at the overflow pipe. We plug in our 60-foot diameter and our 29-foot depth, and we come up with a volume of 613,016 gallons. So that is how many gallons of water will be in the tank at that overflow pipe. And then it'll start overflowing and it can't get any fuller than that. So now that we have that, we can move on and plug in our numbers and do the math. But before I do that, I'll show you for you folks that like to use pi instead of 0.785. And in our volume lesson, I specifically address the difference between these two formulas and why I use 0.785 times diameter squared rather than pi times radius squared. But a quick review, they almost always give you the diameter of the tank. They don't give you the radius. So by having to take that diameter and divide by 2, it's an extra step where errors are often made. But if you like to use the pi r squared formula, I'll show you how that works as well. Take your 3.14 times your 30-foot radius, which is your diameter divided by 2, times your 29 feet times 7.48 gallons per cubic foot, and you come up with the same 613,016 gallons. So it's the same either way. Now I can take that and go to step 4. Step 3 is not required because we don't have to rearrange the formula. So in step 4, we're going to take our 613,016 gallons, divide it by 900 gallons per minute, and that comes up to 681 minutes. Well, if we look at our answer choices and they want the answer in hours, we convert 681 minutes to hours. So we do that by writing down our 681 minutes. We know there's 60 minutes in every hour. Our minutes will cancel out. So I simply divide 681 by 60, and that gives me 11.35 hours.
If you need additional help preparing for a state license exam, click the link below and we'll get you some more information about our license-specific exam prep courses.